Hello, Meoni here, and this video is looking at 4 things that I'm looking forward to in Shadowbringers, and 4 things that I'm not so much looking forward to. One thing I'm not looking forward to specifically about the expansion is these things. Ether currents. It's not so much that I hate them outright, I just find them a little chore-like, and when I log into an alt I go, oh, I can't fly. Oh, right. And then I just don't bother, prefer to walk around. It's something that some people might like from every expansion, and for the most part I'm fine with it, but it's just the idea of doing more of these is something that doesn't exactly fill me with joy. Conversely, I am actually looking forward to exploring the zones Shadowbringers brings. The idea that the 2.0 areas of the source are going to be pretty much slightly recognisable, but with the 10,000 year alternate spin on them, it's going to be pretty interesting to look at. I'm expecting lots of places to be immediately unrecognisable, and then there'll be this one building or landmark that stands out, and then you'll recognise it and realise, oh, holy crap, this is Limsa? That's going to be a very cool feeling. Another thing I'm not looking forward to so much is the actual downtime and unexpected error messages that could potentially make the early access less fun, but then no game or expansion to a game really goes the way the developer plans. Hopefully things like Raban Extreme won't be something that halts our storyline progression, or at least not so early on and gives us other things to do, but I do theorise with all of the stress tests and various back-end tweaks this time around we should see less of that, and if they pull that off, then it would be incredible indeed. I'm definitely looking forward to the storyline itself, but once the predictability, for me at least, is a lot lower this time, I have very little story expectations for Shadowbringers. I have no idea where this storyline could take us in this familiar yet vastly different world, which is great considering that if we had an expansion straight after Stormblood that say headed west from Offard and entered into the Garlean homelands, it could be somewhat predictable in places. As for this, it's going to be a thrilling adventure to see what NPCs feel, seeing essentially an alien from another world come to save them. If you think about it, that's truly what we are. It's absolutely nuts if you think long enough about that, and it is still very exciting to speculate. Something I'm not so keen on, let's say, is the lack of a new healer. It's not something that completely ruins the experience for me in particular, or anything that crazy, but it just feels odd to me and I guess a few others that we won't be getting one. I know that the balance between the 3 we have is way more important, and Square Enix of Yoshi P have stated in their letters and blog posts, but at least we can safely say that in 6.0 we'll probably be getting a healer. The physical range spot is quite welcome, just I am slightly worried that Machinists will get even less love, with Bard and Dancer being somewhat I myself would choose over them, but then we'll have to wait for more information from the class balance section of the next live letter. The raids and dungeons, that is definitely something I'm looking forward to. I have high hopes this time around, and I think the change of scenery and essentially a lack of pre-written lore means that they could go any way they desire. We could see dark, evil labyrinths of the ancient Ronkan Empire deep below the Raktika Greatwood, twisted and deformed ruins in Amarang, next to the foreboding curtain of death from the Holt of the Flood of Light. It's going to be a thrilling adventure to see light-based Void Scent. They teased us with some examples from the Sin Eaters. In general, it's hopefully going to be a very refreshing, and it'll probably really shine, pun intended. I'm also not going to enjoy the forums when people realise that mid-expansion race updates are not going to be a thing, and they will likely have to live with having no female Hrothgar or male Viera for the longest time. This sort of thing will subside eventually, but for the most part people will overreact. Last year we had explosive reactions and even stupidity like death threats to Square Enix employees, which is vile and completely intolerable. The community as a whole we have is a great thing, but people certainly get a bad name from some who like to force their opinion and demand things at such lengths. We have to collectively remember at the end of the day these are all living, breathing people like ourselves. They work incredibly hard and even go out of their way, including their own spare time, to work on projects. Look at the Hrothgar and Viera helms. But you always get that one tosser who spoils it for everyone, so that's the one thing I'm really not looking forward to dealing with. And finally, I am actually looking forward to seeing all of the hard work pay off from Square Enix. The world visit system now in place will allow for much more to be done with people from different servers. They just have to cut down on the returning queue times. Hunts will forever be different. All of the technology that so far they've implemented has been working incredibly smoothly apart from those queue times. So can they pull off the launch in the same way? It's going to be very satisfying to see the world alive and filled with players again, and this is something that I wouldn't miss for the world on any release date. The others were exceptional. I expect this one's going to be quite popular too. The sheer numbers of people fighting monsters, doing fates, standing and watching cutscenes, all the while enjoying the storyline really brings the world to life. And if they do it right, the forums and Reddit get very dead for a couple of days because people are way more focused on enjoying and experiencing the content in the game than outside of it. Shadowbringers is full of hype, and we shouldn't forget the important things. If you are booking time off work for this, please be prepared for downtimes, be prepared for issues and bugs. This is an MMO at the end of the day, and while some like to claim that certain games never had issues like this on launch, remember that Final Fantasy XIV has certainly had its fair share of bumps and bruises along the way at launch dates. Just give the team some room to actually work on it, report actual constructive feedback and bug reports on the forums when the early access starts, and things will go a lot smoother, especially if we don't have the death threats this time. Either way, what are you most looking forward to in Shadowbringers? It's just around the corner and the hype is real. An honourable mention for me is the various quality of life changes that come and completely change the game to the point where I don't remember them being implemented, and specifically a bigger glamour dresser, which is my idea of heaven. Thank you all kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time.